There we go. Now we're on. Hello and welcome to Beast of Pat Paints. This is where we paint. I'm Pat. And you know that's how we do it. Looks like we still have a pretty good stream. It says good, doesn't say excellent anymore, and that's all right. We're gonna do that. So yeah, now hopefully it's coming through real pretty. That's the idea. So we are back to painting Mr. Aluminor Zeris here, our crazy little Necron. I've watched a bunch of little things about Necrons, and these hoses are, in fact, a little bit glowy. They're not like super bright, but they do glow a little. So that's really, really neat. And then a lot of these other little orbs, like that one is definitely going to glow. And of course, we're gonna make his little eye glow and his staff and stuff glow. And that's the green stuff, the green color. We're gonna get to that later. We've still got plenty of metal to do. I think I finally figured out what I'm gonna do here. So that's good, and that's kind of what we want to do. With all of that. So, there we go. The brush cleaner I got worked out really, really well. Sorry, I stalled for a second there. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm still cleaning some of the other brushes, but our main brushes are rocking and rolling, which is great. So let's see. One of the things that that's what we're doing. Talk about what we're going to do with that. So I'm going to use a Phthalo blue, Phthalo, Phthalo, Phthalo. So it's it's a type of blue. I've got some blue down here from another project I'm working on off to the side, so I'm going to drop it down here on our palette. It's kind of like a really deep turquoisey kind of blue. It's fun. I like it. It's a fun blue. So anyway, we're gonna drop that color on here. Now this is not exactly the way the Games Workshop paints it. So we are having a little bit of a difference here, which is good. We like things to be just a touch different. Get a little water on there. Maybe a little bit more. Now, these paints I work with are usually, they start out a little thicker than your average model paints. So a lot of times you have to thin them out. I don't like thinning them out too much though. I like a thicker paint for certain applications and thinner paints for others. I'm going to paint that ball down there too, and we're going to address it with a highlight later. There we go. That's nice and clean. Like I said, it's a really fun color, and once it settles down in there, it's going to look really nice. It'll mute down just a little bit. And you see this model tricked out in a lot of different ways. So we were talking about that yesterday a little bit. One of the fun parts about playing Warhammer is that you kind of get to paint your army however you want, really. I mean, there's some certain things you have to apply if you want to call yourself Emperor's Children. Like today I have an Emperor's Children shirt on. It's one of my favorites. It's from a Warhammer channel actually called Wes Hammer. Really neat guy. Real spunky and very energetic. So if you like Warhammer stuff, go check him out. He's a pretty neat guy. Anyway, so free plug for him. You know, they have a very certain color scheme. So you got to keep your color scheme, you know, pretty close. You want to be at least allude to it. And like, we're going to do a lot of things that are very close to the way this particular character is supposed to look. But there's a few little accents we can change around. And the color scheme isn't going to be really all that different. They use more like looks like a bunch of variations of Payne's gray to me. But anyway, I want to put a little bit more color on it. I don't want it to be gray. And we got all these other greens going on. And phthalo is close to it. It's got a little bit of a green deal, but it's not quite turquoise, which is fun. Maybe I just like saying the name Phthalo. I don't know. It's always amused me. Even when I was a kid, I thought that was like the funniest name for a color ever. And there's a green too, so it's not just phthalo blue. There's phthalo green. So good. I think there's actually a couple different phthalos. Probably a phthalo purple too. I should figure out why it's called that. Honestly, I don't know that I know. I don't know that I know the answer to that question. I don't know if I know why it's called phthalo. That's an interesting question. It's a synthetic compound. Like viridian hues. Doesn't say anything about why it's named that. Oh well. I'll dig a little deeper when I'm not on the air. See if I can't find something out about it for us for fun. It's a pretty neat idea. It's a pretty fun idea. And we can learn something together, which is always good. It's always good to learn stuff, right? That's the good times. That's the good stuff. You get back up there. Alright, so I was worried about this not being quite dark enough, but it looks pretty dang dark on there, which is nice. We're going to wait a little bit, let it dry up, put another layer on. Meanwhile, we need to start looking at all this metal and make sure we've got everything the way we want it before we start putting things back together and putting green on and yeah. The stuff I'm planning on getting done tomorrow. So, I told you I would do a little bit of research on our boy Xeris here. And I don't want to disappoint, so I did it. He is definitely an interesting character, like I said before. He has a lot to do with why the Necrons are the way they are. It says that he was part of the biotransference, part of getting that organized, and that's where the Necrons turned themselves into these robots, because before they were creatures of like flesh and blood. he is also what they call a cryptic, which is kind of like a, he's a scientist. We've said that before. He's obsessed with becoming godlike. He wants to be like the Satan that he was seduced by with this idea of biotransference. The Satan had them all believing that if they did this deal, they would wake up immortal and powerful like them. And it didn't really work out that way. Unfortunately for the Necrons. But Xeris is still trying to make that happen. He still thinks there is a way for them to become more like gods and more like the old ones, which was the goal in the first place. I decided this needs to be that gunmetal instead of brass. Iron Warriors is the actual name of this. Alright. Yeah, I like that. Because that's just going to look, it's going to give us a color break, which is always good. When in doubt on a color scheme, if you're trying to figure out what to do with the color of something, change it. You know, get a break the color. This one's easy because it's metal, so we know what color it's going to be. It's going to have to be one of the metals we're using. It makes things a little easier. None of those situations where probably would have been easier to have painted this before we put them all together. But yeah, gotta make good do what you got. Okay. Just gotta make sure we got all the metallic bits done. I don't know what that little cable is supposed to be. We're not gonna see it because we're gonna put, there's a piece that goes on right here, so we're just gonna turn it Payne's gray. Shoot, if it'll let us. Sometimes that metallic can be super hard to cover up. Alright, we're gonna let that dry for a bit. We'll come back and get it. Alright, so we're gonna do like a little low-key glow effect on these hoses. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of a white on there to start. And then tomorrow we'll come back and we'll do a little bit of we'll do all the greens. Or at least that's my goal, is to start green tomorrow. Gotta make sure you rotate your models. Remember, you are in charge. You get to tell where to go. It has to listen to you. It's a piece of plastic. Plus, if you're not taking command of your army now, how are you expected to be able to take command of your army later? I'm just being goofy. I'm kind of a nerd. That's alright. Okay. Alright, that cable. And this cable. Which is admittedly easier to get to. And when we come back, we're going to kind of do like a bunch of hatching around with this with the green when we do it. So don't worry too much if this is a super smooth prospect, because we kind of want it to look like pulsating energy is the idea. Heck, we might do one just to do it, so you can see one done today. I get impatient. I kind of have to, though, because we kind of need to do that one so we can seal up the front. If I'm honest. I should have thought that through. I did not. I will shut that refuse. It's up here. There we go. So we're going to put that piece back on him. Maybe we should paint it first. That's a good idea. It's got a little glow, a little orb there. We can definitely make that glow. Excuse me, folks. Okay. Yes, indeed doodle. Make sure you get a this one we do want it pretty smooth. So make sure you've got it all smoothed out. And we're going to come back. We're going to put a wash on this, and then we'll dress it again. Oh, way the heck down there. That's not going to help anybody. And this is that back side. I'm not too worried about it. We just need to make sure it's got color on it, so when you look at it, you'll, even if you're creeping around on the model, and because people like to look at your stuff, they like to pick it up and look at it. As long as you're okay with it. Most of the people you play against in a game like this knows how to treat models because they also have them. So you have a little bit of a different kind of mindset there. But definitely watch what they do. Like, watch how they treat their own models. If they're not treating their own models very well, they definitely, you kind of have an idea of how they're going to treat everyone's models. Hey, oh yeah, Dave. You won. That's funny. Dave is a longtime friend of the show and a personal friend of mine. And we have a lot of fun old times. There was a time where Dave will say he was rendered unconscious by his own doing. And then he would come back to consciousness and ask if he had won. And we would tell him, yes, Dave, you had in fact won. And then he would become unconscious yet again for a duration. That's about all the details I can give there without, you know, giving away too many things. Winner! So funny. It was during a vampire game, and you know, a little too much fun was had. Role-playing games be that way. There's always something. Well, role-playing games when you have too many people involved doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing during games. I have a lot more experience under my belt now about when it's time to be like, oh yeah, no, we shouldn't do that. But, you know, when you're young, you do crazy stuff. It's just, if you didn't do something crazy while you were young, did you really live? You gotta do something a little crazy. A little crazy. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you didn't hurt anybody. You know, and you might have hurt yourself, but that was your fault. Nothing we can do about that. But, you know, as long as you didn't hurt anybody. Thanks, appreciate it. Dave says, always good to hear you laugh, which is it's nice. Yeah, I don't laugh quite as often as I used to, but I get some laughing in. Okay, let's look at this deal. Okay, I love it. So a lot of that staff is going to be done. We're going to do that in that phthalo blue. And, yeah, that's going to look good. Okay, we'll come back to that later. Right now we are hunting down things that should be Iron Warriors. And making sure that it is. We'll be putting a nice wash on this. I really like this idea of making those individual coils green. So we'll definitely do that. I think I got all the way around that power cable. Make sure I got all this stuff done. Whew. Again, another place where I'm kind of wishing I had painted these parts before I put it together. I'm gonna say that a lot this whole show. The whole time we're painting this guy, it's pretty much going to be the motto. We're almost, though, we're getting close to the point where I had to put pieces together to do the next parts on other units. So that's good. This guy's just so dang spindly. Okay. Why did the music turn off? Maybe it's just really quiet. There it goes. Sometimes you can't tell with, you know, that synth music. Sometimes it's just hard to tell where they're going to go. Here we go, get in there, get in there. Let that settle for a second. Trying to make sure you check all these little tight angles. Sometimes you think you have it all, and then you miss a little piece here or there. And we're gonna probably drop a big old wad of fat black wash over this thing, so we want to make sure that we don't have to come back, because it'll be an oil wash, and it is notoriously difficult to get that off and then get new paint on. It's a little rough, so you want to avoid that if at all possible. I think it's a fun thing about, oh, my channel versus like, oh, Sergio Calvo or some of the guys that are really, really good at this. It's like, I'm all right at it. Oh yeah, and I'm confident. And I like what I do, and I don't mind sharing. But I know what you're supposed to look out for, and I know when it's a mistake, when I've made the mistakes. And so, like, you know, I can start passing on that stuff. Plus, I feel like if you can start finding your mistakes, that's the first key to avoiding mistakes. So maybe I'm just like, I don't know, 3 months to a year away from being really good. That'll be fun. We got like Warhammer has a painting contest. Might be fun to start entering those. You know, just to see how we do. I gotta look at the rules, and I gotta look at all that and see what that looks like, but I don't know. Might be fun. That would definitely probably lead us to getting more followers, which is cool. I like having the subscribers and followers. We're getting a lot more like view time, which is great. Appreciate all of that, everybody. You guys are amazing. You're literally the reason I do this, because if I didn't do this for you, I would just paint this by myself. So I'm here painting for because of you guys, which is awesome. I think that's really neat. And that's not me just blowing sunshine up your booty. That's legit really cool. Especially, it's like, I know we have people from other countries, because they've chimed in here and, you know, they were subscribed and stuff. So like that whole idea of being able to communicate across the planet, like that is super neat. I'd love to be able to live long enough to see us be able to communicate to somebody, people living on the moon, like regular people living out on the moon. I don't know if we'll get there in my lifetime, though. Sure would be cool. I might be just a little too sci-fi for my own dang good, but that's aight. Okay, so this thing is like green and charged. That thing is green and charged. That thing is. But all the rest of this is not. Do 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 do. Painting our way through. Talking to you on the YouTube. Doobie doobie doo. Yeah. Oh, so anyway, back to talking about what I've learned about Mr. Nexus here, or Mr. Xeris here. So he's creating these things called pariahs, which are a type of Necron that they cannot be dealt with by psychic beings. So, you know, in this, you know, yeah, it's future and stuff like that, but there's also like psychic abilities. So there's also like a little bit of sword and sorcery. Good Lord, how am I going to get to that part? Right down through there, I guess. There we go. I got you. That's a long way down in there. I don't even think you can quite see it because of the shadows, but getting to the other side of this staff way down in there. Heck yeah. Okay. Okay. Get his fingers. Mm-hmm. Okay. Make sure we got everything lined up in the way we want it. All right, let me grab one. Let me grab some of these greens we're going to need for this next part. I just used it. Where'd it go? I was not prepared for this part. I apologize. I should have been more prepared. Nope, that ain't it. Well, what did I do with it? I had a really bright green. We used it on... Oh well, we'll work on something else. I'll find it tonight. We gotta get back to work. Should be easy. That's ridiculous. I don't know how. Sometimes I just lose things. They just disappear for a little while and then they pop back up and I'm like, oh, there it was. But I usually keep all my paints over there, so it's really strange. It's really strange when a paint disappears. And it's like, wait a minute, what? Like the one thing in my life I keep kind of organized. Huh. Oh well. It's probably one of these silly ass drawers. Oh well, that's annoying. Okay. Anyway, so we do need to do some of this. Another layer of this phthalo blue. I really like that blue. That's going to look great. Definitely feel free to say hello or ask questions. I talk about just about anything. So feel free to just holler. Sometimes they get exciting, sometimes they're not. It's always weird. But, you know, we get people hanging out and viewing. It's good times. And slowly things are improving around here. I'm really hoping my quality's coming through better. When I looked at it, it was. It's kind of hard to tell because like I can't, watch and work the camera at the same time. So I don't know exactly what it looks like coming through. I do. Well, our friend Crypto Michael is taking a look at that though, so he will be telling me how it looked later on. Kind of watches it when he can. That's my my tech guy. Because Lord knows I need one. Yeah, I love that. The blue, then that bronze looks great. We're definitely starting to have a good look. Now these are going to be super easy, so what we'll have to do is we'll drop in a wash with everything else, and then we'll come by and edge highlight that. And I'll probably be on the next show, but just kind of so you know what we're going to do and where we're going with it. Yep. I always like having some nice breaks too. These color breaking things out is great. So we're going to go ahead and we'll do this blue here, and then we'll step up the different colors into the cartouche. Let's see, they have theirs silver and that's not looks fun. It could look a lot better. I think we do this cartouche and this again, and we'll very carefully trace those little parts. You're just trying to barely let the brush touch it. Barely. A lot of times I'm moving like way before I even get down to the end of it. that. And I feel like we do these in bronze as well. Yeah, that's gonna look clean. Still got a little bit of time. Definitely enough time to get this other side. Okay. We got a couple of these cable things in his chest. I'll get in here and get these guys nice and taken care of. Clarify their color before we do a wash. He's got another one of these cartouches up here. I think we got to keep it with that phthalo blue. It's a really nice color against that bronze. It'll look good against this copper too. Let that dry for a little while. We'll come back with the and that on top of that black, that phthalo barely even shows up. It really needs like a second coat to get there. I really am wondering what the heck I did with that silly paint. It really bothers me. What is it, Butt? Uh-oh. Here he comes. What? Do you know where the paint is? What? Do you know? Say hi to everybody. Say hi, Mr. Butt. Hi. Hi. Do you know what happened to that paint? No? You just wanted scritches, huh? Uh-huh. That sounds about right. Okay. Where'd we go? Oh. There you go. Have a good time. Well, I well and truly have lost that paint. I will have to find it later. It is definitely not in its location that it's supposed to be in. Sometimes I feel like it's poltergeists moving stuff around on me. And then I realize that that's just crazy. Or is it? Alright, well, I'm going to get these things. We're going to get all these cables prepped up anyway. And we'll take care of the green tomorrow after I find it. And that's what we're going to do. And we can get all this white prepped up anyway. Because what we're going to do, we'll do like a green glow effect. Don't worry if it's kind of a splotchy job. Because it's going to be kind of a bubbling energy effect. It's okay. I'm making a big old mess of her. Okay. There's so much going on with this guy. Okay. All right. Boy, sometimes it's really hard to see that thing. No matter which way you rotate it. It gets a little difficult to see it. Sometimes you really have to just kind of have experience in which direction your brush is going to roll inside of something, and you have to kind of just trust you're going in the right way, and then it's all going to be okay. Caught a little bit of that wrong edge there. That's okay. Caught some of the right edge too. Alright. Now, gotta get his other little orb back here. Little orb, all the way there. Gonna paint you with my horse hair. Come on. Yep, we're definitely repainting that little piece there bronze, because I've now hit it like 3 times. That's funny. Oh, it's funny to me. Yeah. Alright, get that. Clean that up real quick. Definitely don't want to let it sit in there. Sometimes you'll forget, if you let it sit too long, you'll forget that you're supposed to, hey, I need to get that taken care of and filled in. Just take care of any places where maybe you missed, or maybe it wasn't quite enough on there. Make it stand out really well. Places where maybe we've done a little over painting. I need to do some touch-ups. Alright. Well, I think I have a way we can cheat that other idea. I don't necessarily need that paint. We can do this in an ink. And then tomorrow, if I find that paint, we'll come back and do that anyway. We'll do a little bit of both in there. Look good. Especially because inks. So inks, they're gonna stay shiny. Because we need to do this one. Okay. A little too much water. Make sure you get your, sometimes you gotta make sure you get all the water off your brush. We want this to swirl just a little bit more. So I'm gonna put a little bit more white in some certain places. And the whiter it is, the more of this glow effect it's gonna have. Now you can also use like yellows or other greens. There's a bunch of different types of greens you could use, or if you wanted to make it blue or whatever, the same idea would apply. But the more white that's underneath it, the more it's going to look like it's a shining green. As you can see right there. And that's just, you know, it's just using the white that's underneath it to do that. Which is a little different than the original effect I was going to do. But I really need to get this inside one done so we can seal him up. Because we got to put that other plate on him. And I just kind of like to keep working it up a little bit by little bit until I have it looking exactly the way I want it to look. Sometimes I'll leave some of that white on there so it looks like it's pulsing. And you want it a little bit random, so like energy isn't like a smooth, you don't want it to look super smooth transfer on this sort of thing. It's not like a radiating coil. It's supposed to be like a little cable that has a, I don't know, some sort of energy passing through it. So anyway, that's one technique. So that's going to be kind of cool. I'll show you the other one on the other parts, so you can kind of see how that works. That way you kind of get, you know, 2 different tools in your toolbox. 2 different things you can do, which is great. It's always good to have like more things you're able to do. So anyway, quit jacking your jaw, Pat, and glue the thing on there. So get those places where those mounts were moist with this glue, and then I'm going to do either side here where it broke off as well. And I'm not doing a whole lot, so I'm not worried about having a mask. If you're putting together a whole model, wear a mask. I probably should wear a mask anyway, but yeah, whatever. This is going to be a booger, I can already tell. Here we go. Okay. Get up in there. I need a pair of tweezers. We might need some sprue glue here. Yep, probably our best bet is going to be just a touch of sprue glue. Again, sprue glue is, you take your old glue and you take your old sprue and you mix your old glue and your old sprue and you get sprue goo. Not to be confused with sprue or goo or glue. Okay, so I just got a little dab on this. I just heard about 1 million stoners laughing. As you can see, it's pretty gooey because it is in fact liquid plastic. Okay, just to make sure we bridge that gap. Get in there. Get in there. There we go. Oh my gosh. What a pain in the butt. Oh, got him. I think I got him. Okay. It's definitely on there. What I am going to do, though, is just behind it, I'm going to put a little bit more of this goo. Just because, not with my paintbrush. That would be a really bad idea. So we're just going to take just another little dollop. And just because the location here is so weak, I'm going to add just a little bit of it under here where these connections are. Just to make sure it's all going to stay together. And that's somewhere down there. Nobody's ever going to see that. So, you know, it helps that. And we're just adding stability to the overall piece. Because, you know, the idea is to play with it, so you're going to be moving around. You don't want it to just get knocked loose really easily. So I'll put a little bit there. I'm going to try very carefully. A little bit back there. Hopefully I can get that cleaned up pretty quick. You do get a little extra on there. Just get it off real fast. Try to get the shape right or whatever. It doesn't like to stick to paint, luckily, so should be fine. There we go. We'll cut that groove out. Okay. There we go. Alright, now it's sitting on there alright. Okay. Oh, we'll pull all these plastic spiderwebs off of here. Only problem with doing all that. Alright, well, now we gotta let it sit. And tomorrow we'll come back and fix it. Or we'll keep, well, not fix it. We'll come back and paint it. And I'll glue his top back on to his spear too tomorrow. So anyway, so we got started on a couple of different things, which is great. And then we're going to come through and finish it up. I like that phthalo. I think that looks good. The blue looks great. And tomorrow we should be on to washes and working on the green. And so I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to find that green that we need. So we have that because we kind of need it. Anyway, we're slowly getting there, a little bit by a little bit. Started to look pretty spiffy. Alright, folks. Well, that is all the time I have for today. I got to get off of here and I got to go pick up kiddos. I hope you have a great afternoon. I hope you had some fun with me. I know I had fun with you. I don't know. I voted for you. I mean, I had fun with Dave because Dave was here. Anyway, I appreciate you coming and listening to me, even if you don't comment or anything. I love that that I can share this with you guys. So that's what makes it important to me. And so, you know, everything's cruising along. And I hope you have a great day. And we're going to talk to you tomorrow. Remember, we are probably not going to be on Thursday. I have got to go and take my son to Tulsa. I might do it later in the afternoon. I haven't really decided. It's going to kind of depend on, you know, how I'm feeling when I get home and timetables and stuff like that. So, anyway, hopefully, that's not going to be a big deal. Shouldn't be. I will be back on tomorrow, 1 o'clock Central Time, to paint some more stuff. I'll take one more turn on Mr. Zeris, and then I got to skedaddle. He's really starting to look pretty spiffy. I really like that dark phthalo blue is going to look great on there. And we got his little belt thing back on him, which is great. And we'll get to the we'll get to the rest of this tomorrow. I hope you guys have a good one. Bye.